Hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Eric, and I know I've been slouching this week of not getting out, the second video during the day on whether it be repairs or tool finds or what have you. Today is going to be kind of a hodgepodge of a little of everything that I should have done all this week combined into one. And then I also want to take my GoPro and show you what I've done since we last did the toolbox challenge, or the toolbox. So stay tuned. Alright, so the first thing I want to go over is hearing protection. I can't stress it enough. I'm 61 years old and I have hearing aids in both ears. And part of it was I wasn't wearing proper hearing protection when I was younger. And when I was younger, I was farming it, so I was always around tractors all day long, and that noise level after a while will start breaking your hearing down. And then when I worked in the mines, the same thing, but they offered it, but they didn't make it mandatory. And what I keep now is, these are Maxes, and I buy them by the box. And they're like you can squash them a little bit, like a marshmallow, stick them in, and they'll swell back up. Now, when I worked in the mines, we used to reuse these. During the day, if you come up for lunch, you take them out, set them right next to your lunch pail, have lunch, put them back in, and a lot of times your hands were dirty, right? But I encourage, even if you're mowing the yard, to have some form of hearing protection. And what I use now, if I'm mowing the yard, is I have a headset, and I'm spoiled because I want the radio going. So I have the FM station, of course country, that I'm listening to while I'm mowing the yard. And the same thing goes when I'm running the chainsaw or running the farm tractors. I wear the headset with the AM FM. Claude's got a set as well. But if I'm going to work around here in the shop where I'm going to be doing grinding, anything that can make a loud noise, I grab a set of these and put them in. If you're younger right now, you're going to thank me when you get older and you're not wearing hearing aids at the age of 60. I actually had to start wearing hearing aids in my late 40s. So I knew something had to change because the wife's hair was being parted by the sound being so loud from TV, if that gets you anywhere. So hearing protection. Excuse me. The other thing I wanted to talk about was throwaway gloves, the heavy duty ones. If you're going to be working around any oil, diesel, these are so nice to have because, as you know, diesel and oil, diesel's worse, will soak right into you. You can get the nitrate powder free, or you can get these are powder free, but some are latex and some are not. So you have to be careful because you may have a latex allergy. Some people do. So be aware of that. They come in small, medium, large, and extra large. I keep a large and a medium around here to use. I use the large black. But any job where you're going to get grease, gum, everything else, those are really nice to have. The other thing I wanted to cover is being safe when you're working underneath stuff. All it takes is a fraction of a second. We talked the other morning about you have to put safety first. Take the time to do the extra steps. Rule 1, never ever trust a hydraulic jack, whether it's a bottle jack or whether it's the one you pump up. What I do is I jack what I want up, and then once I get it to where I want it, I will either take and put a jack stand underneath it, a couple of them. If you're working on the rear end of a lawnmower, bring them up, and then you just drops them down. If you want something a little bit more solid, we have the 6x6, 4x4, and 2x4s. And we use these for blocking. Now, if we're doing a tractor where we split it in half, and we want to support the front half, once we pull it away, we do what they call cribbing. And you have 6x6s like this, and then you run them this way, and then you run them this way until you get up to where you're almost snug with the bottom of that tractor. Take the tractor a little bit farther, slide in a 1x if you need to, set it down, and then all you have to do is just lift it up a little bit, set it back down onto the blocks so that all the weight is here and not on a cable or hydraulic system. Really important, we use, stuff that we come across. If we can get some used 6x6s where we can cut them down, we do. So, Harbor Freight. Yes, I was in Harbor Freight today. And one tool that's kind of handy. They've upgraded them since we bought them the last time. But they're a metric and SAE set. It is an 18-piece offset T-handle hex key set, and it covers SAE and metric. With the earlier versions that I had bought for out there and up to the house, they came with just this and the handle. Now they've got on the handle itself, so if you can't get it broke apart like this, you can pop it in there and get some leverage on it. So these are kind of handy. But don't confuse these with Torx bit. Torx bit are a different breed in itself. I have this one for out here. This plot already had a set. And we're going to set that puppy right here. The other thing I picked up was a 5-piece long drive pin punch set. And you may never run into this, but roll pins, that kind of stuff, that's where you're going to need these. And then I also grabbed a 7-inch long chisel bit set. So like a lot of these tools you may never encounter, because you're not working on farm tractors, and most of you guys are just working on like your weed eaters, chainsaws, snow blowers, lawnmowers, and they just be taking up space. But if you get into the heavier stuff, the bigger stuff, and you're using the air tools, then these things come in handy. Now, these support, if you don't want to spend the money on it, find some old blocking material. There's always stuff laying around that you can use. Make sure that it's treated and solid, because the last thing we want to do is have you get hurt. Alright, so I'm going to grab my GoPro and show you some of the other stuff that we've done this past week. Alright, so stay with me. Alright, so welcome back. I got the GoPro out. As you can see, we have air drops now. You guys had talked about going with the plastic PVC Schedule 40. And I looked on this 1/2-inch line and it's 400 PSI is what it's rated for. So we put in 3 different drops where we can just hook right in for air. And that's run all the way out to the main compressor. The other thing I did was I had that over here I just moved it over because we had 3 jump packs, and I want to be able to put them in a row and be able to plug them in away from my tools, because they sit there quite a bit unless we need them. And we'd already talked about the strip-in back. I'm using that for the chargers, plugged into its own system. And I had all the specialty tools and stuff like that, and the big 3/4 inch drive and all that. So what I ended up doing was moving that and clearing all this shelving off. And I put my boxes here, and everything from electrical to the ties to what have you. And then my assortments I put here. And then all my specialty tools, including snap ring pliers, 3/4 inch drive metric SAE, the ratcheting, I put all right there. And then I put all the new stuff like the PB blaster, the carb cleaner, the grease, the chain lube on the bottom shelf. And then I moved up and I put all of our cutting discs here, or sanding discs. This is 2-stroke. I got miscellaneous nuts and bolts in here. I got an extra tube of grease sitting right here. And then I got all my drill bits. And then I make less clutter over there. I moved my string over here and some of the tools that I had over here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to mount this chainsaw grinder in Oregon. With the grinder, we're going to build a bench over there and mount it there so that it's away from everything else, so that we can, with the grinding, it's not going to be something that can catch fire somewhere where you're not going to see it. So on that note, guys, like I say, I'm sorry about this week being kind of slow trying to get stuff together, but between running here, running there, and doing everything else, I haven't had time. So I'll get this out right now, and we'll definitely have something for you for the weekend. All right. Thanks so much.